Ryan Cole thought the worst thing about a blind date was awkward small talk. He was wrong. The worst thing was watching your boss, the billionaire CEO of the entire company, walk through the restaurant door and realize she's your date. In that instant, a harmless dinner became a minefield. One wrong move could destroy his career, his carefully built life, everything he'd fought to give his daughter. He could have left, should have left. But when Ariana Vale's eyes met his across that table, neither of them moved. And that's where everything started to fall apart. If you're watching from anywhere in the world, drop your city in the comments below. I want to see how far this story travels. And if you're here for the drama, hit that like button and stick around until the end. The restaurant was too nice for Ryan Cole. He knew it the moment he stepped through the door. Polished marble floors, candlelight that seemed choreographed, waiters moving like they'd rehearsed their steps. The kind of place where the menu didn't list prices because if you had to ask, you didn't belong there. Ryan didn't belong there. He tugged at his collar, feeling the dress shirt pull against his shoulders. It was the same shirt he wore to job interviews and parent-teacher conferences, the only one without a stain or a missing button. His reflection in the glass doors showed a man trying too hard, clean-shaven, hair still damp from the shower, shoes polished until they hurt his feet. 32 years old, and he felt like a teenager on prom night. "Reservation for Cole," he told the hostess, his voice coming out rougher than he intended. She smiled with practiced warmth and led him through the dining room. Crystal glasses caught the light. Soft jazz played from speakers he couldn't see. Every table seemed occupied by people who knew exactly which fork to use. Ryan followed her to a corner booth, his hands shoved deep in his pockets. This was Marcus's fault. His coworker had been pestering him for months about getting back out there, about not letting his entire life revolve around work and his daughter. Finally, Ryan had given in just to shut him up. One blind date. What was the harm? He slid into the booth and immediately regretted every decision that had led him here. The menu was worse than he'd feared. No prices, just descriptions that sounded like poetry. He ordered water and checked his phone. 20 minutes early. Of course he was early. He was always early, a habit formed from too many mornings rushing Emma to school, too many nights when being 5 minutes late meant a missed bedtime story. Emma. His chest tightened with the usual guilt. She was with his mother tonight, probably already in her pajamas, probably asking when Daddy would be home. He'd promised her he'd only be gone a few hours. She'd looked at him with those serious brown eyes, too serious for a 7-year-old, and told him it was okay, that he should have fun. Fun. When was the last time he'd had fun? Ryan glanced at his watch. Still 15 minutes until 7. He pulled out his phone again, scrolled through nothing, put it back. The waiters glided past. A couple 2 tables over laughed at something. The jazz shifted into a song he almost recognized. He should leave. Text Marcus, say he got called in for an emergency, apologize to whoever this woman was, and, "Mr. Cole?" Ryan looked up. The world stopped. Not metaphorically. Not like in movies where everything goes soft and romantic. It stopped the way a car stops when you slam the brakes. Sudden, violent, every muscle in his body locking up. Walking toward him was Ariana Vale. Ariana fucking Vale. Founder and CEO of Vale Technologies. The woman whose signature appeared on his paychecks. The woman whose face he'd seen in company emails, in business magazines, in the framed photo on the executive floor he'd walked past 100 times. She was wearing a black dress, simple but clearly expensive, her dark hair pulled back in a way that looked effortless, but probably wasn't. 30 years old and worth more money than Ryan could comprehend. She moved through the restaurant like she owned it, which she probably did, and she was walking straight toward his table. Ryan's brain short-circuited. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be happening. Marcus had set him up with someone named Aria, a friend of a friend who worked in tech, who was smart and single, and... oh no. Oh no. Ryan? She stopped beside the table, and Ryan realized he hadn't stood up, hadn't said anything, was just sitting there like an idiot with his mouth half open. He scrambled to his feet, nearly knocking over his water glass. "Ms. Vale, this is a mistake," she finished. Her voice was exactly like he remembered from the one company-wide meeting he'd attended. Clear, controlled, with an edge that suggested she didn't waste time on bullshit. I'm going to kill Marcus. So she knew Marcus too. Of course she did. Ryan's coworker had mentioned knowing someone high up in the company, but Ryan had assumed he meant a department head, maybe a director. Not the CEO, not the woman who could fire him with a phone call. I should go, Ryan said. I'm sorry, I'll just sit down. It wasn't a request. Ryan sat. Ariana slid into the booth across from him, and the air between them felt charged with something Ryan couldn't name. She folded her hands on the table, and he noticed she wasn't wearing any jewelry. No rings, no watch, nothing. For some reason, that made her seem more human. Let me guess, she said. Marcus told you this would be casual, low pressure, just dinner with someone interesting. He said you worked in tech, Ryan managed. He didn't mention you owned the entire goddamn company. A flicker of something crossed her face. Amusement, maybe. He told me you were in operations, didn't mention you reported to me. I don't report to you. I do, but not directly. There are like 6 people between us. 7, maybe. I work in the warehouse distribution center. I'm nobody. The words came out wrong, sharper than he meant. Ariana's expression didn't change. Is that what you think? She asked. That you're nobody? Ryan's jaw tightened. I think I'm exactly the kind of person who shouldn't be having dinner with you. Because of the company? Because of everything. The waiter appeared before she could respond, all polished professionalism and perfect timing. He clearly recognized Ariana, probably recognized her the moment she walked in, but gave no indication beyond a slightly deeper nod. Good evening, Ms. Vale. Your usual table was occupied, but I hope this will suffice. It's fine, David. Thank you. David? She knew the waiter's name, of course she did. Can I start you with drinks? Ariana glanced at Ryan, who was still trying to remember how breathing worked. Wine? He stopped. Sure, whatever you're having. She ordered something Ryan didn't catch, something that was probably worth more than his monthly grocery budget. The waiter disappeared. Silence settled over the table like dust. Ryan stared at the menu, not reading it, just needing somewhere to look that wasn't her face. This was insane. He should stand up, apologize, walk out, go home to Emma, and forget this ever happened, but he didn't move. How long have you worked for Vale? Ariana asked. The question was so normal, it threw him. 3 years? Almost 4. And you're in distribution? Logistics coordination. I manage shipment schedules, vendor contracts, inventory reconciliation. Nothing glamorous. He paused. You probably don't even know my department exists. I know every department exists. That's my job. Right, of course, sorry. Stop apologizing. Ryan's head snapped up. Ariana was looking at him with an expression he couldn't quite read. Not angry, not amused, something in between. You've apologized 4 times since I sat down, she continued. For being here, for working at my company, for existing. I didn't come to dinner to watch someone grovel. Heat crawled up Ryan's neck. I just don't understand what we're supposed to do here. You're my boss. This is a conflict of interest. This is one dinner that neither of us planned, Ariana interrupted. Marcus ambushed us both. We can either sit here for an hour making it weird, or we can act like adults and get through it. Your choice. Ryan exhaled slowly. She was right. They were both stuck here now, and running would just make it worse. Okay, he said. Fine. Adults. I can do that. Can you? There was a challenge in her voice that made something prickle along Ryan's spine. He met her gaze directly for the first time since she'd sat down. You don't know anything about me, he said. No, Ariana agreed. I don't. That's generally how blind dates work. The wine arrived. Ryan took a long drink and immediately regretted it. Whatever it was tasted expensive and complicated, and he had no idea if he was supposed to swirl it or smell it or just drink it like a normal person. Ariana sipped hers without ceremony. Marcus said you have a daughter, she offered. Ryan tensed. Emma, she's 7. And her mother? Not in the picture. The words came out clipped, automatic. He'd said them so many times they'd lost all meaning. It's just me and Emma, has been since she was born. Ariana nodded slowly. That must be difficult. It's my life. I don't know anything different. Still difficult. Ryan's fingers tightened around his glass. He didn't want her pity, Didn't want to be the struggling single dad at the table, but he also couldn't lie. Yeah, he admitted. Sometimes it is. The waiter returned for their orders. Ariana chose something that sounded French. Ryan pointed at a random item on the menu and hoped for the best. When they were alone again, Ariana leaned back against the booth. So what does Marcus think we have in common? No idea. You'd have to ask him. I intend to, right before I fire him. Ryan's eyes widened. Please don't. I'm joking. A hint of a smile touched her lips. Mostly. It was the first time she'd looked even remotely relaxed, and Ryan found himself staring. She was beautiful. He'd known that from the photos, from seeing her across the office. But up close, without the armor of a boardroom or a stage, she looked different, younger, more real. What about you? He asked before he could stop himself. Why did Marcus think you needed a blind date? The smile faded. He didn't say I needed one. He said I should try one. That's not an answer. No, Ariana said. It's not. Fair enough. Ryan took another drink of wine, feeling it warm his chest, loosen the knot between his shoulders. This was still the most surreal night of his life, but at least they were talking now. At least it didn't feel like an interrogation. Can I ask you something? Ariana said. Sure. Why did you agree to this? The blind date. Ryan considered lying, considered saying something charming or self-deprecating. Instead, he told the truth. I haven't been on a date in 7 years. Emma's mom left before Emma was even born, and after that, he shrugged. I didn't have time, didn't have energy, didn't see the point. Marcus has been harassing me about it for months. Eventually, I gave in just to shut him up. Romantic. I told you, I'm nobody special. You keep saying that. Ariana tilted her head. Why? Because it's true. Or because it's easier than admitting you're afraid. The words hit like a punch. Ryan's jaw clenched. You don't know me. No, but I recognize the look. What look? The one that says you've built walls so high you forgot there's a world outside them. Ryan's pulse hammered in his ears. He should be angry, should tell her she was out of line, that she had no right to psychoanalyze him over a glass of wine she probably paid for with pocket change. But he couldn't, because she was right. What about you? He asked, his voice rough. Why are you here? Ariana's expression shuddered. I already told you. Marcus set this up. That's not what I asked. For a moment she didn't answer. Then so quietly he almost missed it. Because I'm tired of eating alone. The admission hung between them, raw and unexpected. Their food arrived. Ryan barely tasted his, some kind of fish with vegetables he couldn't name. Ariana ate slowly, methodically, like she was thinking about something else entirely. Do you like your job? She asked suddenly. Ryan blinked. What? Your job. At Vale. Do you like it? Yeah, it's stable. Good benefits. I can support Emma. That's what matters. That's not what I asked. Ryan set down his fork. Why do you care? I don't know, Ariana said, and she sounded genuinely surprised by her own answer. But I do. He studied her across the table. This woman who had everything, who could have anyone, who was sitting here asking him questions like his answers mattered. It's fine, he said finally. The work is fine. My team is solid. My manager's an asshole, but that's par for the course. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It pays the bills. That's it? That's all you want? What else is there? Ariana's gaze didn't waver. More. Ryan laughed, but it came out bitter. Easy to say when you own the company. You think I started with money? Didn't you? No. Her voice hardened. I started with an idea and a maxed out credit card. I spent 3 years sleeping in my office because I couldn't afford rent. I missed my father's funeral because I was closing a deal that kept the company from going under. I gave up everything to build Vale. So don't assume I don't know what it's like to struggle. Ryan stared at her. He'd read articles about her rise to success, about the tech wunderkind who'd built an empire before 30, but the articles never mentioned sleeping in offices or missed funerals. They never mentioned the cost. I'm sorry, he said quietly. Stop apologizing. Sorry, he caught himself. Force of habit. Something in Ariana's expression softened. I know. They ate in silence for a while. The restaurant hummed around them, conversations Ryan couldn't hear, music he'd stopped noticing. Everything had narrowed to this table, this moment, this woman who shouldn't be here, but was. Emma? Ariana said eventually. What's she like? Ryan's chest loosened at the question. She's everything. Smart as hell, way too serious for a 7-year-old. Loves dinosaurs and hates bedtime. She thinks I'm the best dad in the world, which... He stopped, swallowed hard. Which is terrifying because I know I'm not. Why would you say that? Because I'm making it up as I go. Because I don't know what I'm doing half the time. Because every decision feels like the wrong one and I'm just praying I don't screw her up too badly. That's called being a parent. You say that like you know. I don't, Ariana admitted. But I know what it's like to be responsible for something bigger than yourself. To feel like one mistake could destroy everything. Ryan looked at her, really looked at her, and saw past the expensive dress, the CEO title, the untouchable exterior. He saw someone who understood. This is the weirdest date I've ever been on, he said. This is the only date I've been on in 3 years. Seriously? Ariana's mouth quirked. When you're me, people either want your money or your connections. They don't want you. That's depressing. That's reality. The waiter cleared their plates, offered dessert. Ariana declined. So did Ryan. They should leave, pay the check, walk out, pretend this never happened. Go back to their separate lives, her in her penthouse or mansion or wherever billionaires lived, him in his cramped apartment with dinosaur posters on the walls. But neither of them moved. I'm going to be honest, Ryan said. I have no idea what happens now. Nothing happens now. We finish our wine, we leave, we forget this ever happened. Can we do that? Ariana met his eyes. Can you? No. The answer was immediate, undeniable. He couldn't forget this. Couldn't forget the way she'd looked when she admitted she was tired of eating alone. Couldn't forget the crack in her armor, the glimpse of something real beneath the surface. I work for you, Ryan said. It's a bad idea. I know. We should walk away. I know. So why aren't we? Ariana didn't answer. She just looked at him with those sharp, assessing eyes, and Ryan felt something shift in his chest, something dangerous. The check came. Ryan reached for it automatically. Ariana was faster. I've got it, she said. You don't have to... Ryan. His name in her mouth sounded different, less formal, more real. Let me pay. He relented. She signed something without looking at the total. They stood, walked toward the exit. The night air hit Ryan's face like a splash of cold water, clearing his head just enough to remember all the reasons this was a terrible idea. The valet brought Ariana's car, a sleek black sedan that probably cost more than Ryan made in a year. She turned to face him, and in the dim light of the street lamps, she looked almost uncertain. Thank you for not running, she said. Thank you for not firing me. A real smile this time, small, but genuine. The night's not over. Ryan laughed despite himself. I should go. Emma's probably asleep by now, but I promised I'd be home before she woke up. Good dad. Trying to be. Ariana's hand moved just slightly, like she was reaching for something. Then it dropped back to her side. This was... She paused. Not what I expected. Yeah, same. We should forget it happened. We should. Good night, Ryan. Good night, Ms. Vale. Ariana, she corrected. If we're pretending this never happened, you might as well use my name. Ariana, Ryan repeated, and the word felt too intimate on his tongue. She got in her car, drove away. Ryan stood on the sidewalk until her taillights disappeared, then pulled out his phone to call a rideshare. His hands were shaking. So, Ryan's apartment was dark when he got home. His mother was asleep on the couch, and Emma was curled up in her bed, clutching her stuffed triceratops. Ryan stood in the doorway of her room, watching her breathe, and felt the weight of the night settle over him. What the hell had he just done? He'd had dinner with Ariana Vale, his boss, the CEO, the most powerful person he'd ever met, and he wanted to see her again. That was the terrifying part. Not the professional complications, not the insanity of the situation, the fact that he wanted more. Ryan went to bed but didn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling and replayed every word, every look, every moment when he should have walked away but didn't. By morning, he'd convinced himself it was over. One weird night, a story to tell someday, nothing more. Then his phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "Marcus gave me your contact. I hope that's okay." Ryan's heart stopped. He stared at the message for a full minute before typing back. "It's okay." 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. "I meant what I said. We should forget this happened." "I know, I don't think I can." Ryan's hands tightened around the phone. He should say something smart, something that would shut this down before it started. Instead, he wrote, "Me neither." The response came immediately. "Then what do we do?" Ryan looked at Emma's door, thought about his job, his life, everything he'd built to keep them safe and stable. Then he thought about Ariana sitting across from him, admitting she was tired of being alone. "I don't know," he typed, "but I think we should find out." The next 3 days were torture. Ryan went to work like always, showed up at 6:30, checked shipment schedules, coordinated with vendors, handled the endless stream of problems that came with managing logistics for a tech company that operated on 4 continents. He ate lunch at his desk, attended meetings that could have been emails, and left at 5 sharp to pick up Emma from after-school care. Normal. Everything was normal, except his phone felt like a bomb in his pocket. Ariana hadn't texted again after that first exchange. Neither had he. They'd left it there. An acknowledgement that something existed between them, suspended in digital amber, waiting for someone to be brave enough or stupid enough to touch it again. Ryan was neither. He threw himself into routine, helped Emma with her homework, which currently involved a project about prehistoric ocean animals that had somehow expanded to include a poster board, 12 library books, and a clay model of a megalodon that looked more like a deformed hot dog. They worked on it together every night, Emma narrating facts she'd memorized while Ryan tried not to think about a woman who probably had people to make her coffee and schedule her life down to the minute. It didn't work. By Thursday afternoon, Ryan was in the warehouse running inventory checks when his phone buzzed. He almost didn't look. Almost let it sit there while he counted boxes of server components that all looked identical. But he looked. "Are you free Saturday?" Ryan's heart kicked against his ribs. He read the message 3 times, standing in the middle of the warehouse with a clipboard in his hand and a choice in front of him. He could ignore it, delete it, block the number, and pretend Ariana Vale had never walked into that restaurant. His fingers moved before his brain caught up. "Emma has a soccer game at 10, free after 1. The response came fast. "Send me the address, I'll meet you there." Ryan stared at the words. She wanted to meet at Emma's soccer game. Not a restaurant, not a hotel, not somewhere hidden and private. His daughter's soccer game. "Why?" he typed. "Because I want to see what matters to you." Something cracked open in Ryan's chest. He looked around the warehouse, boxes stacked to the ceiling, forklifts moving in careful patterns, workers who'd become familiar faces over the years. This was his world. Small, manageable, safe. Ariana was asking to step into it. Parkside Elementary. Field 3. It's a mess. Parents yelling, kids falling down. Nobody knows the rules. Perfect. See you Saturday. Ryan shoved his phone back in his pocket and tried to focus on inventory. The numbers swam in front of his eyes. Saturday. 2 days away. He had 2 days to figure out what the hell he was doing. That night, after Emma went to bed, Ryan called Marcus. "You're an asshole," he said when Marcus picked up. "Hello to you too." Marcus sounded amused. "I'm guessing the date went well? You set me up with Ariana Vale." "I set you up with Aria. How was I supposed to know you didn't know her last name?" "You knew exactly what you were doing." Marcus laughed. "Okay, yeah, I knew. But come on, man. You would have said no if I told you." "Of course I would have said no. She's my boss. She's—" Ryan stopped. "She's coming to Emma's soccer game on Saturday." Silence. "Say that again," Marcus said slowly. "You heard me." "Ryan, buddy, what the hell are you doing?" "I don't know." Ryan pressed his palm against his forehead. "I really don't know." "Look, I thought maybe you two would hit it off. Have a nice dinner, exchange numbers, see where it goes. I didn't think, Ariana doesn't date, like, ever. And now she's going to your kid's soccer game? Is that weird? It's insane. It's also, Marcus paused. Kind of amazing. How did dinner go? I mean, really? Ryan closed his eyes and saw Ariana across the table, admitting she was tired of eating alone. It went, he said. We talked. We agreed it was a bad idea. And then? And then we agreed we didn't care. Marcus whistled low. You're playing with fire, man. I know. She could ruin your career. I know. You have a daughter to think about. I know. Ryan's voice came out rougher than he intended. You think I haven't thought about all of this? You think I don't know this is the stupidest thing I could possibly do? So why are you doing it? Ryan didn't have an answer, or maybe he did, and it scared him too much to say it out loud. I have to go, he said. Emma's calling. She wasn't, but Marcus let him hang up anyway. Friday dragged. Ryan moved through the day like he was underwater, every hour stretching longer than the last. At lunch, he sat in his car and pulled up Ariana's profile on the company directory. The photo was professional, her in a dark blazer, hair pulled back, expression serious. She looked untouchable. He thought about her smile in the restaurant. Small, but real. His phone buzzed with a meeting reminder. Ryan locked the screen and went back to work. That night, Emma was wired about the game. She bounced around the apartment in her soccer uniform, which was already stained from the last match, demonstrating moves she'd learned at practice. Coach says I'm getting better at defense, she announced, kicking an imaginary ball across the living room. I stopped 3 goals last week. 2 goals, Ryan corrected. One of them went in. Only because Mia wasn't paying attention. Uh-huh. Emma spun around, her ponytail whipping through the air. Are you coming to the game? Of course I'm coming. I come to every game. I know, but you seem weird. Ryan's hand stilled on the dishes he was washing. Weird how? I don't know, like you're thinking about stuff. Emma climbed onto one of the kitchen chairs, kneeling so she could see him better. Is it work stuff? Sort of. Is someone being mean to you? Ryan turned off the water and dried his hands, then moved to sit across from her. Emma watched him with those serious brown eyes that saw too much. Nobody's being mean, he said. I met someone, and I don't know what to do about it. Emma's face lit up. Like a friend? Maybe. I don't know yet. Is it a girl? Ryan felt heat crawl up his neck. Yeah, it's a girl. Do you like her? Such a simple question, such a complicated answer. Yeah, Ryan admitted. I think I do. Emma considered this with the gravity of a judge. Is she nice? I think so. I don't know her very well yet. Does she like dinosaurs? I haven't asked. You should ask. That's important. Emma tilted her head. Is she coming to my game? Ryan hesitated. He'd been trying to figure out how to handle this, how to explain without making it a bigger deal than it needed to be. Actually, yeah, she is. Really? Emma's eyes went wide. Is she your girlfriend? No. We're friends. Maybe. We're figuring it out. Okay? Emma shrugged, apparently satisfied. Can she sit with Grandma? Grandma gets lonely at games. We'll see, Em. You should tell her to bring snacks. The snack bar is gross. Ryan laughed despite himself. I'll mention it. Emma went back to practicing her kicks, and Ryan sat there feeling like he'd just survived an interrogation. His daughter was 7 years old and already more emotionally intelligent than he was. He texted Ariana before he could overthink it. Fair warning, Emma knows you're coming. She wants to know if you like dinosaurs. The response came 20 minutes later. I'm partial to pterodactyls. Does that count? Ryan smiled at his phone like an idiot. She'll accept that. Nervous? Terrified. Me too. Something about that admission made Ryan's chest feel less tight. She was nervous too. The woman who ran a billion-dollar company was nervous about a kid's soccer game. It's just soccer, he typed. It's not about the soccer. Ryan stared at those words until his screen went dark. Saturday morning arrived too fast and not fast enough. Ryan woke up before his alarm, helped Emma into her uniform, made breakfast neither of them ate. His mother showed up at 9:30 with a folding chair and a thermos of coffee that smelled like it could strip paint. You look awful, she said cheerfully. Rough week? Something like that. They drove to the elementary school in Ryan's beat-up Honda, Emma chattering the entire way about strategy and positions, and how Mia's mom always brought orange slices that nobody liked. Ryan's hands were slick on the steering wheel. The parking lot was already half full when they arrived. Parents unloading chairs and coolers, kids running around in jerseys, coaches setting up cones on the field. Ryan found a spot near the back and helped his mother with her chair. "You gonna tell me what's wrong?" she asked as they walked toward the field. "Nothing's wrong." "Ryan Michael Cole, I changed your diapers. I know when you're lying." Ryan glanced at Emma, who was already running toward her team. "I'll tell you later." "That bad?" "That complicated." His mother gave him a long look, then squeezed his shoulder. "Okay, later." They set up near the sideline, his mother settling into her chair with her coffee while Ryan stood with his hands in his pockets, scanning the parking lot like he was waiting for something to explode. 10 o'clock came. The game started. Emma's team kicked off, and within 30 seconds, one of the kids tripped over the ball and face-planted into the grass. Parents cheered anyway. Ryan tried to focus on the game, tried to watch Emma chase the ball with more enthusiasm than skill, tried to care about which team was winning, but his eyes kept drifting to the parking lot. At 10:15, a black sedan pulled in. Ryan's heart stopped. Ariana stepped out wearing jeans and a simple gray sweater, her hair down around her shoulders. She looked completely different from the woman in the restaurant, younger, softer, like someone who could blend into a crowd. She didn't blend. Every parent on the sideline turned to look. Ryan moved before he realized he was moving, meeting her halfway across the parking lot. "You came," he said stupidly. "I said I would." Ariana's gaze swept over him, jeans, old jacket, sneakers that had seen better days. "You look different." "So do you." "Good different or bad different?" "Good. Definitely good." A smile pulled at her mouth. "Which one's Emma?" Ryan pointed to the field where Emma was currently arguing with another kid about who got to kick the ball. "Number 7, the one who thinks rules are optional." "Wonder where she gets that from." "Her mother, probably. I follow all the rules." Ariana looked at him. "Do you?" The question hung between them, weighted with meaning. Ryan's pulse hammered. "Come on," he said. "I'll introduce you to my mom." They walked to the sideline together, and Ryan felt every eye tracking their movement. His mother looked up from her chair, saw Ariana, and her eyebrows climbed toward her hairline. "Mom, this is Aria. Aria, this is my mother, Linda." "Ariana," she corrected, offering her hand. "It's nice to meet you, Mrs. Cole." Linda shook her hand, her expression caught between surprise and assessment. "Just Linda, and it's nice to meet you too. Ryan didn't mention he was bringing someone." "It was last minute," Ryan said quickly. "Mm-hmm." Linda's eyes moved between them, missing nothing. "You want a chair, honey? I've got an extra one in the car." "I'm fine standing, thank you." They turned back to the game. Emma had the ball now, dribbling it toward the goal with determination that outweighed her coordination. She took a shot. It went wide by about 6 feet. Parents clapped anyway. "She's enthusiastic," Ariana observed. "That's one word for it." "What's another word?" "Chaotic. Fearless. Completely unaware of her own limitations." Ryan watched his daughter high-five her teammate. "She's everything I'm not." "I doubt that." Ryan glanced at Ariana. She was watching the game, her expression unreadable. "Can I ask you something?" he said. "Sure." "Why are you really here?" Ariana was quiet for a moment. On the field, someone scored a goal. Parents erupted in cheers. "Because this is real," she said finally. "Your life. Your daughter. This is what matters to you, and I—" She stopped. "I wanted to see it." "Why?" "Because nothing in my life is real anymore. It's all transactions and strategies and people who want something from me. But this—" She gestured to the field, the chaos, the kids running in every direction. "This is real, and I miss it." Ryan's chest tightened. "When did you lose it?" "I don't know. Somewhere between the second round of funding and the IPO. I woke up one day and realized I'd built exactly what I wanted, and it wasn't enough." "That's depressing." "That's honest." The game continued. Emma got possession again, lost it immediately, then chased the other team down the field like a tiny tornado. Ryan watched her and felt the familiar surge of pride and terror that came with being responsible for another human being. She looks like you, Ariana said. You think so? Same eyes, same determination. Her mother was determined too, just determined to leave. The words came out harsher than Ryan intended. Ariana glanced at him but didn't push. At halftime, Emma ran over, her face red and sweaty, her uniform covered in grass stains. Dad, did you see? I almost scored. You did great, Em. Emma's gaze shifted to Ariana, and Ryan watched his daughter's eyes go wide. Hi, Emma said. Are you Dad's friend? I am, Ariana said. You must be Emma. Yeah, Dad said you like pterodactyls. I do. They're underrated. That's what I said. Emma bounced on her toes. Everyone always talks about T-Rexes, but pterodactyls could fly. That's way cooler. Agreed. Though technically they're not dinosaurs. Emma's face fell. Wait, really? They're pterosaurs, related to dinosaurs but different classification. Ryan watched his daughter process this information with the seriousness of someone discovering a fundamental truth about the universe. Huh? Emma said. I didn't know that. Most people don't. Are you a scientist? No, I just read a lot. Cool. Emma turned to Ryan. Can I have money for the snack bar? Ryan pulled out his wallet, handed her a $5. Don't get anything that'll make you sick before the second half. I won't. She ran off. Linda had wandered over to talk to another parent. Ryan and Ariana stood alone on the sideline. She's wonderful, Ariana said. She's a handful. Same thing. Ryan couldn't argue with that. The second half started. Emma's team was losing by 2 goals, not that any of the kids seemed to notice or care. They ran and kicked and fell down and got back up, and Ryan felt the familiar ache of watching his daughter be brave without knowing how scary the world really was. Can I ask you something? Ariana said. Yeah. What do you want, Ryan? The question caught him off guard. What do you mean? With your life, with this... She gestured between them. What do you actually want? Ryan watched Emma chase the ball. I want Emma to be happy, to be safe, to have opportunities I didn't have. What about you? I'm her dad. That's enough. Is it? Ryan turned to look at Ariana fully. What are you asking me? I'm asking if you're happy, if this life you've built is what you want, or just what you settled for because it was easier than trying for more. Heat flared in Ryan's chest. You don't know anything about my life. Then tell me. Why? So you can feel better about yours? So you can see how the other half lives and go back to your mansion feeling grateful? Ariana's expression didn't change. Is that what you think I'm doing here? I don't know what you're doing here. I don't know what I'm doing here. This whole thing is insane. You're right. It is. So why aren't we stopping? Because I can't, Ariana said, and her voice cracked just slightly. I can't stop thinking about you, about that dinner, about the way you looked at me like I was a person instead of a checkbook. And I know this is wrong. I know all the reasons we should walk away, but I can't make myself do it. Ryan's breath caught. Around them, parents cheered, kids ran. The world kept moving. I have a daughter, he said quietly. Everything I do affects her. I can't be reckless. I know. If this goes wrong, it doesn't just hurt me, it hurts her. I know. And you could fire me tomorrow. You could destroy my entire life with a phone call. I would never, but you could. Ryan's hands clenched into fists. That's the reality. You have all the power here. I have none. Ariana flinched like he'd hit her. That's not fair. It's true. It's not the whole truth. She stepped closer, her voice dropping. You think you have no power? You've made me question everything. My priorities, my choices, what I actually want from my life. You've made me feel something I haven't felt in years. That's power, Ryan. Maybe not the kind you're used to, but it's real. Ryan stared at her. The game ended. Parents started packing up chairs. Emma was running toward them with her medal. Everyone got a medal, win or lose. Dad, we got second place. Ryan dragged his attention to his daughter, forcing a smile. That's great, Em. Hi again, Emma beamed at Ariana. Did you see me play? I did. You were very fast. Thanks. Are you staying for lunch? Dad always takes me for pizza after games. Ryan's stomach dropped. I'm sure Arya has... I'd love to, Ariana interrupted. Emma's face lit up. Really? Really? Ryan looked at Ariana, searching her expression for any sign she was just being polite. But she met his gaze steadily, and he saw the same determination he'd seen at the restaurant. Pizza it is, he said. They ended up at a place 2 blocks from the elementary school. Red vinyl booths, arcade games in the corner, the smell of grease and cheese thick in the air. Emma dragged them to a booth in the back and immediately started lobbying for extra quarters for the claw machine. Linda had begged off, citing errands, but not before giving Ryan a look that clearly said they would be talking about this later. Ryan slid into the booth across from Ariana while Emma ran to wash her hands. The silence felt heavier here, more intimate than the sideline. You don't have to stay, Ryan said. If you have somewhere to be, I don't. It's Saturday. Don't you have, I don't know, rich people things to do? Ariana's mouth quirked. Rich people things? You know what I mean. I really don't. What do you think I do with my time? Ryan shrugged, feeling stupid. Brunches, charity galas, flying to Paris for the weekend. I worked until midnight last night reviewing Q3 projections. This morning I answered emails until I drove here. Tomorrow I have a board meeting at 8 a.m. that I'm not prepared for because I've been distracted. She paused. By you. Ryan's pulse kicked up. Ariana, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying this is my Saturday. This is what I want to be doing. Emma came back before Ryan could respond, sliding into the booth next to him and immediately launching into a detailed analysis of the game, her team's strategy, and why Mia really needed to pay more attention. They ordered pizza. Emma got quarters for the arcade. Ryan and Ariana sat across from each other in a booth that had probably been there since the 80s, and something shifted. This wasn't the restaurant. It wasn't some carefully controlled environment where they could pretend they were just 2 people having dinner. This was Ryan's real life. Sticky tables and mediocre pizza and a daughter who talked with her mouth full. And Ariana didn't flinch. She asked Emma about school, about dinosaurs, about what she wanted to be when she grew up. She listened when Emma explained in excruciating detail the plot of her current favorite movie. She didn't check her phone once. You're good with her, Ryan said when Emma ran back to the arcade. She's easy to talk to. She's 7. So, 7-year-olds are honest. They don't play games. Unlike adults. Unlike adults, Ariana agreed. The pizza arrived. Emma came back smelling like the prize counter, clutching a plastic ring she'd won from the claw machine. She showed it to Ariana with the pride of someone displaying the crown jewels. It's beautiful, Ariana said seriously. You can have it if you want. Emma, you don't have to, Ryan started. I want to. Emma pushed the ring across the table. Because you came to my game, and you like pterodactyls. Ariana picked up the ring, cheap plastic, probably worth $0.25, and slipped it onto her pinky finger. It barely fit. Thank you, she said. I'll treasure it. Emma grinned and went back to her pizza. Ryan watched Ariana turn the ring on her finger, this woman who probably wore jewelry worth more than his car, treating a plastic toy like it mattered. You didn't have to do that, he said quietly. Yes, I did. After lunch, they walked back to the parking lot. Emma ran ahead, still buzzing with energy despite having played an entire soccer game. Thank you for letting me stay, Ariana said. Thank you for staying. They reached her car. Emma was already at Ryan's Honda, digging through her soccer bag for something. Ryan, Ariana said, we need to talk about this. Really talk about it. I know. Not here. Not with... She glanced at Emma. Somewhere we can be honest. Ryan's chest tightened. When? Are you free tomorrow night? I can be. There's a place. Outside the city. Private. We can talk without people seeing. Hiding, you mean? Ariana's jaw tightened. Is that what you want? To not hide? I don't know what I want, except... Ryan stopped. Except to see you again. Something in Ariana's expression softened. Tomorrow. I'll text you the address. Okay. She got in her car. Through the window, Ryan saw her grip the steering wheel, her knuckles white. Then she drove away. Emma appeared at his elbow. I like her. Yeah? Yeah, she's nice. And she knows about dinosaurs. Well, pterodactyls. You should be friends with her. We'll see, Em. Is she why you've been acting weird? Ryan looked down at his daughter, at those serious brown eyes that missed nothing. Yeah, he admitted. She is. Is that good weird or bad weird? I don't know yet. Emma considered this. Okay. But if it's good weird, you should tell her. Because Grandma says you never tell people when you like them, and that's why you're always alone. Ryan choked. Grandma said that? Yeah, she talks to Aunt Melissa about it. I heard them. You're not supposed to eavesdrop. I wasn't eavesdropping. They were being loud. Emma tugged on his hand. Can we go home? I'm tired. They drove home. Emma fell asleep in the back seat before they hit the highway. Ryan's phone buzzed at a red light. Thank you for today. He waited until he was parked in front of their apartment to respond. Thank you for coming. Emma's wonderful. You're doing a good job. Ryan stared at those words. Nobody ever told him that. Nobody except his mother, and mothers had to say things like that. Tomorrow, he typed. What time? 7. I'll send you the address. Ryan carried Emma inside, got her cleaned up and into pajamas while she was still half asleep. She mumbled something about pterodactyls and plastic rings, then was out completely. He stood in her doorway, watching her breathe, and felt the weight of every decision pressing down on his shoulders. This thing with Ariana, whatever it was, wasn't just about him anymore. It involved Emma. It involved their life, their routine, their carefully constructed stability. And he was about to blow it all up for a woman he barely knew. His phone buzzed, an address in the Northern Hills, a time. And then, I'm scared too. Ryan sat on his couch in the dark apartment holding his phone and realized he'd already made his choice. He texted back, Good. We should be. Sunday felt like standing on the edge of a cliff. Ryan went through the motions. Breakfast with Emma, laundry, helping her finish the Megalodon project that was due Monday. His mother came over at 5 to watch Emma, and she cornered him in the kitchen while Emma was in the living room watching a documentary about the Jurassic period. You gonna tell me about her? Linda asked. There's nothing to tell. Ryan, he sighed. Her name's Ariana. We met through Marcus. We've had dinner. She came to Emma's game. That's it. That's it? That's all I know right now. Linda studied him for a long moment. You look terrified. I am. Good. You should be. That means you actually care. Ryan rubbed his face. What if I screw this up? Then you screw it up, but at least you tried. She touched his arm. You've been alone a long time, honey. Emma's fine, I promise. You're allowed to want something for yourself. What if wanting something for myself hurts her? What if showing her that her father is capable of being happy teaches her something important? Ryan didn't have an answer for that. He left at 6:30. The address Ariana had sent led him north into the hills, away from the city lights, onto roads that got narrower and darker until he was sure he'd made a wrong turn. Then he saw the house. It wasn't a mansion, not like he'd expected. It was modern, all glass and clean lines, perched on the hillside with a view of the valley below. One car in the driveway. Ryan parked and sat for a moment, hands on the wheel, heart hammering. He could turn around, drive home, text her that this was a mistake. Instead, he got out. The front door opened before he reached it. Ariana stood there in jeans and a sweater, her feet bare, her hair loose. You found it, she said. GPS helped. Come in. Ryan followed her inside. The house was beautiful, minimal, sophisticated, everything in its place. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the valley. The city sprawled below them, lights beginning to flicker on as the sun set. You want something to drink? Ariana asked. Water's fine. She poured 2 glasses, handed him one. They stood in the kitchen, the silence stretching. Is this your house? Ryan asked. One of them. How many do you have? Does it matter? I guess not. Ariana set down her glass. Ryan, we need to talk about what this is. I know. I mean really talk, not dance around it, not pretend we can figure it out as we go. Ryan's jaw tightened. Okay, so talk. I can't date you, not in any normal way. The company has policies about relationships between executives and employees. Even if we're not in the same reporting chain, Even if there's no direct conflict of interest, it's complicated. If people found out, they'd think I'm sleeping my way to a promotion. They'd think I'm abusing my power. Are you? Ariana's eyes flashed. Is that what you think? I don't know what to think. You're right. This is complicated. You hold all the cards here. My job, my ability to support my daughter, everything depends on that company. On you. So we stop. Right now. We walk away. Is that what you want? No. The word came out sharp, almost angry. No, it's not what I want. But I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to have something real when everything in my life is transactional. Ryan set down his glass and moved closer. Then let's figure it out. How? I don't know. But I know I haven't felt this alive in 7 years. I know I think about you constantly. I know when Emma asked if you were my friend, I wanted to say yes. But friend doesn't feel like the right word. What's the right word? Ryan reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. His hand curved around her jaw, thumb brushing her cheekbone. I don't know yet, he said, but I want to find out. Ariana's breath hitched. This is dangerous. I know. We could lose everything. I know. Then why? Ryan kissed her. It wasn't planned, wasn't calculated. It was just inevitable. Ariana made a sound against his mouth, surprise or surrender or both. Her hands came up to grip his shirt, and Ryan pulled her closer, feeling the solidity of her against him, real and warm and completely unexpected. When they broke apart, they were both breathing hard. We're doing this, Ariana said. Not a question. Yeah, Ryan said, we're doing this. We have to be careful. I know. No one can know, not yet. I know. Ariana's fingers tightened in his shirt. I don't know how to do careful. I'm either all in or I'm out. Then be all in. You don't know what you're asking. Then tell me. She pulled back, putting distance between them, and Ryan felt the loss like cold water. If I do this, Ariana said, if I let myself fall for you, I won't be able to protect you. From the board, from the company, from people who will see this as weakness. I can be the CEO, or I can be the woman who's sleeping with an employee. I can't be both. So we're just sleeping together? No, that's not... She closed her eyes. I don't know how to explain this. Try. Every relationship I've ever had has been about what I could give someone. Money, connections, opportunities. Nobody's ever just wanted me. And now you're standing here and you don't want anything from me except you, Ryan finished. I just want you. Ariana's eyes opened. Why? Because you're real. Because you showed up to my daughter's soccer game wearing jeans. Because you took a plastic ring from a 7-year-old like it was made of diamonds. Because when I talk to you, I don't have to pretend to be someone I'm not. You barely know me. So let me know you. It's not that simple. Why not? Because I'm terrified. The words burst out of her, raw and honest. I'm terrified that you'll see who I really am and realize I'm not worth the risk. I'm terrified that I'll hurt you or Emma or destroy the life you've built. I'm terrified that for the first time in 10 years, I actually want something I can't control. Ryan crossed the distance between them in 2 steps. Good. Be terrified. So am I. But let's be terrified together. Ariana looked up at him, and Ryan saw it, the crack in her armor, the vulnerability she'd spent years hiding. Okay, she whispered. Okay. They stood there in her kitchen, the city lights spreading below them, and made a choice that would change everything. They made rules that first night. Sitting on Ariana's couch with the city spread out below them, they tried to build guardrails around something that felt too big to contain. No contact at work unless absolutely necessary. No lingering looks in hallways, no meetings alone in her office. If they passed each other in the building, they were strangers. This feels like a spy movie, Ryan said. This feels like survival, Ariana corrected. They agreed to meet only at her house in the hills, only on nights when Ryan could arrange childcare without raising suspicion. Once a week? Maybe twice, if they were lucky. Everything else would happen in stolen moments, texts that couldn't be traced, phone calls from burner apps, a relationship built in the margins of their real lives. This is insane, Ryan said, but he was already memorizing the curve of her neck, the way her hair fell across her shoulders when she finally let herself relax. Completely, Ariana agreed and kissed him again. Ryan left at midnight, driving down the dark hillside roads with his heart still racing. Emma was asleep when he got home, his mother dozing in front of the television. He paid her, thanked her, and stood in Emma's doorway, watching his daughter breathe. What was he doing? What kind of father risked everything for a woman he barely knew? But he did know her. That was the terrifying part. He knew the way she talked about her company like it was a living thing she'd built with her bare hands. He knew she hated small talk but loved silence. He knew she'd spent 3 years sleeping in an office because failure wasn't an option. He knew she was lonely, just like him. Monday morning, Ryan walked into Vail Technologies with his badge and his thermos of coffee and the weight of a secret pressing against his chest. He kept his head down, moved through the lobby without looking at the executive portraits on the wall, took the elevator to the operations floor. Normal. Everything was normal. Except Marcus cornered him before lunch. So? Marcus leaned against Ryan's desk, grinning like an idiot. How'd the soccer game go? Fine. Just fine? Emma's team lost. She didn't care. Pizza was mediocre, standard Saturday. Marcus's grin didn't fade. And Ariana? Ryan's hand stilled on his keyboard. What about her? Come on, man. Did she show? Yeah, she showed. And? And nothing. She watched the game. We got pizza. She left. End of story. You're a terrible liar. Ryan finally looked up. There's nothing to lie about. Right, because the CEO of the company definitely makes a habit of attending random kids' soccer games. She was being polite. She doesn't do polite. She does efficient. There's a difference. Marcus pulled up a chair, his expression shifting from amused to serious. Look, I'm glad you two hit it off. I really am. But you need to be careful. I know. Do you? Because Ariana Vail doesn't date. She works. That's it. If she's making time for you, that means something. And if it means something, people will notice. Ryan's jaw tightened. Nobody's going to notice because there's nothing to notice. Okay, sure. Marcus stood up. Just watch yourself. That's all I'm saying. He walked away, and Ryan sat there staring at his computer screen, seeing nothing. The first week was almost easy. They texted carefully. Nothing incriminating, nothing that couldn't be explained as casual conversation. Ryan learned that Ariana was a night owl who answered emails at 2 a.m., that she drank her coffee black, that she had a dry sense of humor that only showed up in text when she felt safe. They talked on the phone twice, late at night after Emma was asleep. Ariana told him about growing up in a small apartment with her father, about learning to code because it was free and she was bored, about the first time she realized she could build something from nothing. Ryan told her about Emma's mother walking out of the hospital 3 days after giving birth, about the panic of being 25 and suddenly responsible for a human life, about the first time Emma called him daddy and how it had felt like both a gift and a prison sentence. Do you regret it? Ariana asked. Having her? Never. Not for a second. But I regret... Ryan stopped. I regret that she'll never have what other kids have. 2 parents, stability, a mother who gives a damn. She has you. Sometimes I don't think that's enough. It is, Ariana said, and she sounded so certain that Ryan almost believed her. Thursday night, Ryan went back to the house in the hills. His mother watched Emma without asking questions, which meant she was definitely storing them up for later. Ariana opened the door wearing the same jeans and sweater, and Ryan realized she probably had a closet full of designer clothes somewhere, but chose to dress like a normal person when it was just them. Hi, she said. Hi. They stood there for a moment, suddenly awkward, like they'd forgotten how to do this now that they'd made it real. Then Ariana pulled him inside and kissed him, and the awkwardness evaporated. They ordered takeout because neither of them could cook worth a damn. Sat on her couch, eating Thai food straight from the containers while a documentary about ocean exploration played on the television, neither of them really watching. Tell me something you've never told anyone, Chaz, Ryan said. Ariana looked at him. Why? Because I want to know you, the real you, not the CEO version. She was quiet for a long moment, chopsticks frozen halfway to her mouth. I'm afraid I'm becoming my father, she said finally. What do you mean? He worked himself to death, literally. Heart attack at 53, alone in an office at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. I found him the next morning. Her voice was flat, controlled. I swore I'd never be like that. And then I built a company that requires me to work 80-hour weeks and sleep at my desk and miss every important moment because there's always another crisis. Ryan set down his food. Ariana, I'm 30 years old and I have more money than I'll ever spend and exactly 2 friends, one of whom set me up on a blind date because he was worried I'd die alone. She laughed, but it sounded broken. I'm terrified I'm going to wake up one day and realize I wasted my entire life building something that doesn't matter. It matters, Ryan said. Veil Technologies matters. You've created thousands of jobs, changed entire industries. I know the speech. I give it to investors twice a year. Ariana looked at him. But does it matter to me? Does it make me happy? I don't know anymore. Ryan reached for her hand. What would make you happy? This. The word came out small. Being here with you, not thinking about quarterly reports or board meetings or the next acquisition. Just being. Then be. It's not that simple. Why not? Because the moment I stop pushing, everything I've built will fall apart. Will it? Or have you just convinced yourself of that? Ariana pulled her hand away. You don't understand what it's like. You're right, I don't. I clock in, I do my job, I clock out. My life is simple. But that doesn't mean I don't understand pressure. Every decision I make affects Emma. If I lose my job, we lose our apartment. If I get sick, she has nobody. If I screw up, you won't. How do you know? Because you care too much. That's your problem. You care so much, it's eating you alive. Ryan stared at her. Sounds familiar? Ariana's mouth quirked. Yeah, it does. They finished eating in silence. The documentary ended. Ariana queued up something else, some thriller Ryan had heard about but never had time to watch. He lasted 20 minutes before his phone buzzed. A text from his mother. Emma woke up asking for you. I got her back to sleep but thought you should know. Guilt punched through Ryan's chest. He was sitting here with Ariana while his daughter was at home having nightmares. I should go, he said. Ariana glanced at the phone screen. Is she okay? Yeah, just she had a bad dream. My mom handled it, but you should be there. I'm sorry. Don't be. Ariana stood with him, walked him to the door. She comes first. I get it. Ryan turned to face her. This is my life. Late nights cut short. Plans that change at the last minute. A 7-year-old who will always be more important than anything else. I know. And you're okay with that? Ariana touched his face. I'm okay with you. Ryan kissed her, soft and quick, then forced himself to pull away. He drove home too fast, his mind churning. This couldn't work. It was too complicated, too risky, too many pieces that didn't fit together. But when he checked his phone at a red light, there was a text from Ariana. Drive safe. And another. I miss you already. Ryan's chest ached. The second week was harder. Ryan's manager announced mandatory overtime to deal with a delayed shipment from overseas, which meant longer hours at the warehouse and less time with Emma. She handled it the way she handled everything, with quiet acceptance that made Ryan feel like the worst father alive. It's okay, Dad, she said when he explained he'd be late 3 nights in a row. Grandma makes better mac and cheese anyway. Hey, Emma grinned. I'm kidding. Yours is fine. Brat, love you too. Wednesday night, Ryan worked until 9, then drove straight to the hills without going home first. He texted his mother from the parking lot, asking if she could stay later. She replied with a single word, fine. He'd be paying for that later. Ariana opened the door looking exhausted. Hair pulled back, no makeup, eyes shadowed. Bad day, Ryan asked. Bad week. Board meeting went sideways. 2 executives are fighting over budget allocations. Our lead developer quit to join a competitor. I'm sorry. Not your problem. She stepped aside to let him in. You want wine? I want you to sit down before you fall over. Ariana laughed, but it sounded hollow. I'm fine. You look like you haven't slept in 3 days. 4, actually. Ryan steered her to the couch, sat her down, and went to the kitchen. He found crackers and cheese in her mostly empty refrigerator, poured 2 glasses of water, and brought everything back. Eat, he said. I'm not hungry. I don't care. Eat. Ariana took a cracker, more to shut him up than because she wanted it. Ryan sat beside her and waited. You don't have to take care of me, she said. I know. I'm serious. I've been taking care of myself for a long time. I know you don't need me, Ryan interrupted. But I'm here anyway, so eat the damn crackers. Something in Ariana's expression cracked. She ate another cracker, then another, and Ryan watched color return to her face. When did you eat last? He asked. Lunch, maybe. I don't remember. Ariana, I know it's bad, but when things get crazy, I forget. Food feels like wasted time. Ryan pulled out his phone and ordered pizza. Ariana started to protest, then gave up. They sat in silence until the food arrived. Ryan paid, brought it to the couch, and they ate straight from the box like he did with Emma on Friday nights. This is ridiculous, Ariana said through a mouthful of pepperoni. You're eating gas station pizza on a $15,000 couch. This is gas station pizza? I don't know. Probably. I've never ordered from there before. It's great. It's objectively terrible. Okay, yeah, but terrible pizza is better than no pizza. Ariana actually smiled. Is that your philosophy on life? Pretty much. Low expectations, high satisfaction rate. That's depressing. That's realistic. Ryan wiped his hands on a napkin. You want to talk about what happened at the board meeting? Not particularly. Okay, they finished the pizza. Ariana's phone buzzed approximately 60 times, but she ignored it. They moved to the floor, backs against the couch, shoulders touching. Can I ask you something? Ariana said. Sure. Do you ever feel guilty about this? Ryan's chest tightened. Every second of every day. Because of Emma? Because I'm lying to everyone I know. My mom thinks I'm working late. Emma thinks I'm at the office. Marcus thinks, hell, I don't know what Marcus thinks. And at work, I walk past you like you're a stranger when I spent the night before falling asleep thinking about you. We could stop. Is that what you want? Ariana turned to look at him. No, but I don't want you to resent this. Resent me. I don't resent you. Not yet. But you might. When this gets harder, when the secrets get heavier. Ryan reached for her hand, laced their fingers together. Then we'll deal with it together. You make it sound simple. It's not simple, but it's worth it. How do you know? Because for the first time in 7 years, I'm not just surviving. He stopped, searching for the right word. I'm living, and that scares the hell out of me, but I don't want to go back. Ariana kissed him, slow and deep and desperate, like she was trying to memorize the taste of him. They ended up in her bed. Ryan left at 2 a.m., drove home in the dark, and slipped into his apartment like a thief. His mother was asleep on the couch again. He paid her in cash, added an extra $50 for the late night, and checked on Emma. She was awake. Dad? Her voice was small in the darkness. Ryan's heart sank. Hey, Em, what are you doing up? Couldn't sleep. Where were you? Work stuff. I'm sorry I was late. Emma sat up, rubbing her eyes. You're always late now. I know, it's just temporary. This project at work. You're lying. The words hit like a slap. Ryan froze in the doorway. What? You're lying. You smell different, and you smile at your phone now, and Grandma says you're distracted. Emma's voice cracked. Are you going to leave like Mom did? Ryan's world tilted. He crossed the room in 3 steps, sat on the edge of her bed, and pulled her into his arms. No, he said fiercely. Emma, no, I am never leaving you. Not ever. Do you hear me? Then where do you go? Ryan closed his eyes. He couldn't tell her about Ariana. She was 7 years old. She wouldn't understand the complications, the risk, the reasons he had to keep this secret. But he could tell her the truth, part of it anyway. I met someone, he said quietly, a friend, someone who makes me happy, and I've been spending time with her. I should have told you. I'm sorry. Emma pulled back to look at him. Is she nice? Very nice. Do you love her? The question knocked the air from Ryan's lungs. I don't know yet. Maybe. It's complicated. Why is it complicated? Because grown-up things are always complicated. Emma considered this with her trademark seriousness. Does she know about me? Yes. She came to your soccer game, remember? You gave her the ring from the claw machine. Oh. Emma's face brightened. Ariana? Ryan's heart stopped. How did you... Grandma told Aunt Melissa that you were seeing someone named Ariana. I heard them talking. Of course she did. His mother couldn't keep a secret to save her life. Yeah, Ryan admitted. It's Ariana. I like her. She knows about pterodactyls. She does. Are you going to marry her? Emma, because if you marry her, does that mean she'll be my mom? Ryan's throat closed. We're not getting married. We're figuring things out. And even if we did, she wouldn't replace your mom. Nobody could do that. I don't remember my mom. I know. Do you think she ever thinks about me? Ryan wanted to lie. Wanted to say, yes, of course, your mother loves you even though she left. But he'd promised himself he would never lie to Emma about the important things. I don't know, he said, but I think about you every second of every day. And that's not going to change. No matter what happens with Ariana or anyone else, you're my priority, always. Emma hugged him tight. Okay. Okay? Yeah, but you should tell me next time. I don't like when you lie. Deal. Ryan stayed until Emma fell back asleep, then went to his own room and lay awake staring at the ceiling. His daughter knew. Not everything, but enough. And somehow that made it both better and worse. His phone buzzed. A text from Ariana. Did you make it home okay? Ryan's fingers hovered over the keyboard. He should tell her about Emma, about the conversation, the questions, the guilt that was eating him alive. Instead, he wrote, Yeah, all good. Get some sleep. You too. He didn't sleep. He lay there thinking about the way Ariana had looked at him when he'd told her to eat the crackers. The way she'd kissed him like he was the only thing keeping her tethered to earth. The way his daughter had asked if she was going to be her mom. This was getting out of control. Friday, Ryan's manager called him into the office. Dan Pritchard was 56, balding, and had the personality of a stapler. He ran the operations department like a military unit and had never once asked Ryan about his personal life. Close the door, Dan said. Ryan's stomach dropped. Is something wrong? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Dan leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled. I've been getting questions about you. Questions? From upstairs, executive floor. Someone's been asking about your performance, your attendance, your file. Ryan's blood ran cold. Who? Didn't say. But when the executive floor starts asking questions about a warehouse coordinator, it's never good. So I'm asking you, is there something I should know? Something that's going to blow back on this department? No, I don't know what you're talking about. You sure about that? I'm sure. Dan studied him for a long moment. Fine. But whatever's going on, handle it. I don't need corporate breathing down my neck because one of my guys is screwing around. I'm not screwing around. Good. Keep it that way. Ryan left the office feeling like he'd been punched. Someone was asking questions. About him, from the executive floor. It could be routine. Could be nothing. Could be a random audit or background check for a promotion he didn't know about. Or it could be someone who'd noticed him talking to Ariana at that restaurant 3 weeks ago. Someone who'd seen them together and decided to dig. He texted Ariana from his car during lunch. We need to talk. She replied an hour later, tonight, my place. Ryan told his mother he had to work late again. Emma gave him a look that said she knew he was lying but wasn't going to call him on it. He drove to the hills with his hands shaking. Ariana met him at the door looking tense. What happened? Ryan told her about the meeting with Dan, about the questions from the executive floor, about the feeling that walls were closing in. It might be nothing, Ariana said, but she didn't sound convinced. Or it might be someone who saw us together, someone who's putting pieces together. I'll look into it. How? I have access to HR requests. I can see who's been pulling employee files. Ariana, you can't. I can and I will. If someone's targeting you because of me, I need to know. Ryan paced across her living room. This is exactly what I was afraid of. This is why we should have walked away. But we didn't. Maybe we should have. Ariana's expression hardened. Is that what you want? To walk away? I want to keep my job. I want to support my daughter. I want to not feel like I'm about to lose everything every time my phone rings. Then leave. Ariana's voice was cold, controlled. Walk out that door right now and we'll forget this ever happened. I'll make sure no one touches your file. You'll be safe. Ryan stopped pacing. That's it? That's your solution? What do you want me to say? That it'll be fine? That we can keep sneaking around forever and nobody will notice? We knew this was risky. We knew it could blow up. So we just give up? I'm not giving up. I'm giving you an out. Because I care about you too much to watch you destroy your life for something that might not even work. You don't think this will work? I don't know. Ariana's composure cracked. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to be with someone when my entire life is the company. I don't know how to choose between my career and whatever this is. I'm not asking you to choose. Yes, you are. Maybe not with words, but every time you show up here, every time you look at me like I'm the only thing that matters, you're asking me to choose. And I don't know if I can. Ryan felt something break in his chest. Then why did you start this? Because I was lonely. The words exploded out of her. Because I was so tired of being alone that I ignored every rational thought in my head and let myself believe I could have something real. But maybe I can't. Maybe I'm too broken, too focused, too... Ryan crossed the room and kissed her. She fought it for half a second, then melted into him, her hands fisting in his shirt like she was afraid he'd disappear. When they broke apart, they were both breathing hard. I don't want to walk away, Ryan said. I'm terrified, and I'm in over my head, and I have no idea what I'm doing. But I don't want to walk away. Even if it costs you everything? Even then, Ariana closed her eyes. You're an idiot. Probably. We're both idiots. Definitely. She laughed, but it sounded wet. What are we going to do? We're going to figure out who's asking questions. We're going to be more careful. And we're going to stop acting like this is already over before it's really started. And if it does blow up, then we deal with it. Together. Ariana opened her eyes. Promise me something. What? If this gets too dangerous, if it threatens Emma, you'll walk away. No hesitation. No guilt. You'll just walk away. Ryan wanted to argue, wanted to say he wouldn't have to make that choice, but he knew better. I promise, he said. They spent the rest of the night in silence, wrapped around each other on the couch, the city lights glittering below them like a million tiny warnings they were choosing to ignore. Ariana found the answer Monday morning. She called Ryan at lunch, her voice tight. It's Jeffrey Chen. Who? Head of Operations Strategy. He reports directly to the COO. He pulled your file last week. Ryan's stomach turned. Why would he do that? I don't know. But I'm going to find out. Ariana, don't. I'm not going to confront him. I'm just going to ask some questions, see what I can learn. And if he knows about us, then we'll deal with it. She hung up before Ryan could argue. The rest of the day crawled. Ryan couldn't focus, couldn't think about anything except Jeffrey Chen and what he might know and how it could all come crashing down. His phone rang at 4 p.m. Ariana. We're okay, she said immediately. It's not about us. Ryan exhaled. Then what? The operations department is being restructured. Chen's looking at personnel files to figure out who to promote and who to lateral. Your name came up because your performance reviews are solid. That's it? That's it. You're on a short list for senior coordinator, which means more money, better benefits, and a direct report to Chen instead of Dan. Ryan sat down hard in his office chair. I'm being considered for a promotion? Apparently, Chen wanted to do background research before making it official. Relief flooded through Ryan so fast it left him dizzy. So we're safe. For now. What does that mean? Ariana's voice dropped. It means we got lucky this time. But Ryan, we can't keep doing this. Someone's going to notice eventually, and when they do, I know. Do you? Because I'm starting to think, don't, Ryan cut her off. Don't say we should stop, not when we just got good news. Good news about your career, which you earned, which has nothing to do with me. I know that. Do you? Because when people find out we're together, they won't care that you earned it. They'll assume I gave it to you. Ryan's jaw clenched. Then we make sure they don't find out. How? We can't hide forever. Why not? Because Ariana stopped. Because eventually I'm going to want more than stolen nights and secret phone calls. And I don't know if you can give me that. The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. What are you saying? Ryan asked. I'm saying we need to decide what this is. Really decide. Because if we're just passing time until the guilt gets too heavy, I'd rather know now. Is that what you think this is? I don't know what to think anymore. Ryan looked around his tiny office, the desk covered in paperwork, the computer that barely ran, the window that overlooked a parking lot. This was his life. Simple, small, safe. And Ariana was asking him if he wanted more. I'll come over tonight, he said. We'll talk. Really talk. Okay. She hung up, and Ryan sat there wondering how something that had started as a blind date had become the most important thing in his life, and wondering what would happen when he finally had to choose. Ryan didn't make it to Ariana's house that night. At 6:15, his phone rang. The school. Emma had fallen during recess and hit her head. Nothing serious, the nurse said, but he should come pick her up just to be safe. Ryan was in his car before the call ended. He found Emma in the nurse's office with an ice pack pressed to her forehead and tears streaking down her face. She wasn't crying anymore, but her eyes were red and puffy. Hey, Em. Ryan knelt in front of her chair. You okay? I'm fine. It was stupid. I tripped over my own feet. Her voice was small, embarrassed. Happens to the best of us. The nurse gave Ryan instructions. Watch for dizziness, confusion, excessive sleepiness. If anything seemed off, go to the ER. Emma rolled her eyes through the whole speech. They drove home in silence. Ryan kept glancing at his daughter, watching for signs of concussion, but she just stared out the window with the ice pack against her head. Does it hurt? He asked. Not really. It's just a bump. You want ice cream? Dad, you can't fix everything with ice cream. I can try. Emma almost smiled. Okay, ice cream sounds good. They stopped at the grocery store, got 2 pints of chocolate chip cookie dough, and went home. Ryan texted Ariana while Emma was in the bathroom. Emma got hurt at school. Nothing serious, but I need to stay with her tonight. I'm sorry. The reply came immediately. Don't apologize. Is she okay? Yeah, just shaken up. Tell her I hope she feels better. Ryan stared at that message. Ariana barely knew Emma, but she cared. It shouldn't have mattered as much as it did. I will, he typed back. Tomorrow? Tomorrow. They ate ice cream straight from the containers and watched a movie about talking animals that Emma had seen a dozen times but still laughed at. Halfway through, she leaned against Ryan's shoulder. Dad? Yeah? Do you think Ariana would want to come over sometime? Like, here? Ryan's heart stopped. What? I don't know. I just thought you always go to her place. Maybe she'd want to come here. See where we live. Our apartment is... I know it's small, but it's ours. And if she's important to you, shouldn't she see it? Ryan didn't know what to say. The idea of Ariana in this apartment, with its peeling paint and secondhand furniture and Emma's dinosaur posters covering every wall, felt impossible, like two worlds that were never supposed to collide. I'll think about it, he said. Okay? Emma yawned. I'm tired. You want to go to bed early? No, I want to stay up and make sure my brain still works. Ryan laughed despite himself. Your brain definitely still works. They finished the movie. Emma took a shower and put on her pajamas, and Ryan checked her pupils like the nurse had shown him. Everything looked normal. I'm not going to die, Dad, Emma said when he checked for the 3rd time. I know, I'm just making sure. You worry too much. That's my job. Emma climbed into bed, and Ryan sat on the edge like he'd done every night since she was born. She looked so small under the covers, so fragile. Dad? Her voice was quiet in the darkness. Are you happy? The question hit like a fist. What kind of question is that? I don't know. You just seem different lately, like you're thinking about stuff all the time. And I know you said Ariana makes you happy, but I want to make sure you're actually happy, not just pretending. Ryan's throat tightened. Emma, you make me happy. Every single day. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. But what about the rest of your life? Don't you want more than just me? There's no just about you. You're everything. I'm 7. I'm not supposed to be everything. That's too much pressure. Ryan stared at his daughter, wondering when she'd gotten so wise. You're right, he admitted. That's not fair to you. I'm sorry. It's okay. I just want you to be happy. For real. Not just okay. I'm working on it. Good. Emma yawned again. I like Ariana. She seems nice and smart, and she doesn't talk to me like I'm a baby. She is all those things. Then don't mess it up. Ryan laughed. I'll try not to. He stayed until Emma fell asleep, then went to his own room and lay in bed staring at his phone. Emma wanted Ariana to come here, to their apartment, to see their real life instead of the carefully edited version Ryan presented when he showed up at her house clean-shaven and wearing his one good shirt. The thought terrified him. But maybe Emma was right. Maybe it was time to stop hiding. Wednesday morning, Ryan was called into Jeffrey Chen's office. Chen was 42, sharp-eyed, and had a reputation for cutting through bullshit faster than anyone in the company. His office was on the 5th floor, not quite executive level, but close enough to matter. Ryan Cole, Chen said, gesturing to a chair. Sit. Ryan sat, his hands clammy. I've been reviewing personnel files for the operations restructure, Chen continued. Your name keeps coming up. So I heard. You've been with Vail for almost 4 years, solid performance reviews. No disciplinary issues. Your team speaks highly of you. Dan says you're reliable. That's good to hear. Chen leaned back in his chair. How would you feel about a promotion? Ryan blinked. What? Senior logistics coordinator, salary increase, better benefits, direct report to me instead of Dan. You'd be overseeing 3 regional distribution centers instead of 1. More responsibility, more visibility. Chen paused. More stress. I can handle stress. Can you? Because this position requires availability, late nights, weekend calls, travel to vendor sites when issues come up. I need someone who can drop everything when there's a crisis. Ryan thought about Emma, about soccer games and school projects and bedtime stories, about the life he'd built around being available for his daughter. I have a kid, he said. I can't just drop everything. I'm not asking you to abandon your child. I'm asking if you can manage both. Because if you can't, I need to know now. Ryan met Chen's gaze. I can manage both. You sure? I've been managing both for 7 years. I can handle more. Chen studied him for a long moment. Okay, I'll put you on the short list. Final decision comes down in 2 weeks. In the meantime, I want you to shadow me for a few days. See what the job actually entails. Make sure it's what you want. Okay? And Ryan? Chen's expression hardened. This promotion is based on merit, your performance, nothing else. You understand what I'm saying? Ryan's stomach dropped. I understand. Good. Because I don't play politics, and I don't tolerate anyone who does. If you earn this, you'll get it. If you don't, you won't. Clear? Clear. Ryan left the office feeling like he'd been put under a microscope. Chen knew. Maybe not the details, maybe not Ariana's name, but he knew something was going on, and he was warning Ryan to keep it clean. Ryan texted Ariana from the parking lot. Chen just offered me a promotion, or the chance at one anyway. That's amazing. He also basically told me to stay out of office politics. I think he suspects something. The 3 dots appeared and disappeared several times before Ariana's response came through. We need to talk. Tonight. My place. Ryan drove to the hills after putting Emma to bed. His mother had stopped asking questions, which somehow made it worse. Ariana met him at the door looking exhausted. Come in. The house felt different tonight. Colder somehow. Less like a refuge and more like a battlefield. What's going on? Ryan asked. Ariana poured herself a glass of wine. Chen came to me today, asked if I knew you personally. Ryan's blood ran cold. What did you say? I said we'd met briefly at a company event, nothing more. He seemed satisfied. She took a long drink. But he's watching, and if he's watching, other people are too. So what do we do? We stop, for now, until the promotion decision is made. No contact, no meetings, nothing that could be misconstrued. How long? 2 weeks. Maybe 3. Ryan felt like the ground was falling away beneath him. 3 weeks? It's not that long. It feels long. Ariana set down her glass. Ryan, if Chen thinks I'm influencing your promotion, you'll lose it. And worse, you'll lose credibility. Everyone will assume you slept your way into the position. I don't care what people assume. You should care. Because once that label sticks, it doesn't come off. You'll never be taken seriously again. So we just pretend we don't exist for 3 weeks? We do what we have to do to protect you. Ryan's hands clenched into fists. What about protecting us? There is no us if you lose everything. The words hit like a slap. Ryan stared at her, searching for some sign that she was as torn up about this as he was. But Ariana's expression was controlled, neutral. CEO mode. This is what you do, Ryan said quietly. When things get hard, you shut down. You go cold. That's not fair. It's true. The second there's real risk, real emotion, you disappear behind that wall and pretend you don't feel anything. I feel plenty, Ariana snapped. I feel terrified that I'm going to destroy your career. I feel guilty that I started something I don't know how to finish. I feel... She stopped, her voice cracking. I feel like I'm not enough, like I'll never be enough. Because no matter what I do, someone gets hurt. Ryan crossed the distance between them. You're enough. Am I? Because it feels like I'm asking you to choose between your daughter and me, between your career and me. And I don't know how to be with someone when every choice feels impossible. Then stop making it a choice. Stop acting like we have to sacrifice everything to be together. We do have to sacrifice something. That's how this works. Why? Why can't we just be together? Why does it have to be this complicated? Ariana laughed, but it sounded broken. Because I'm me. Because you're you. Because we exist in a world where power dynamics matter and people make assumptions and everything is a transaction. Not this. This isn't a transaction. Isn't it? I have power. You want something. How is that different from every other relationship I've ever had? Ryan pulled back like she'd hit him. You think I'm with you because of what you can give me? I don't know. Are you? No. I'm with you because when I'm around you, I remember what it feels like to want something for myself instead of just surviving. I'm with you because you make me laugh and you challenge me and you care about my daughter even though you don't have to. I'm with you because... He stopped. The words were right there, terrifying and true. Because what? Ariana whispered. Because I'm falling in love with you. The silence that followed felt like falling. Ariana stared at him, her eyes wide, her expression unreadable. You can't, she said finally. Too late. Ryan, I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. I know all the reasons it doesn't make sense. But I can't help it. I'm falling in love with you and it scares the hell out of me, but it's true. Ariana turned away, her hands shaking. You shouldn't love me. Why not? Because I don't know how to love you back. Not the way you deserve. I don't know how to be someone's partner when I barely know how to be a person. Then let me teach you. It's not that simple. It could be. Ariana spun to face him, tears streaming down her face. No, it can't. Because in 3 months or 6 months or a year, you're going to realize that I'm married to my company, that I'll always choose work over you, that I'm not capable of putting someone else first, and you'll resent me, and Emma will resent me, and this whole thing will fall apart, and I'll have hurt you for nothing. You don't know that. I do know it, because I've seen it happen. Every relationship I've ever had ended the same way, with someone telling me I'm too ambitious, too focused, too cold. And they were right. They were wrong, Ryan said fiercely. You're not cold. You're scared. There's a difference. Maybe I'm both. Ryan reached for her, but she stepped back. I think you should go, she said. Ariana, please, I need to think. Ryan wanted to fight, wanted to stay and argue and make her see that she was wrong about herself. But he saw the way her hands were shaking, the way she was barely holding herself together. Okay, he said quietly, I'll go. But this conversation isn't over. Maybe it should be. Well, it's not. He left before she could argue. Drove home with his heart in pieces, wondering how something that felt so right could be so completely broken. The next 2 weeks were hell. Ryan threw himself into work, shadowing Chen during the day and falling into bed exhausted every night. Emma noticed he was quieter, more distracted, but she didn't push. Ariana didn't text, didn't call. At work, she was a ghost. Ryan never saw her in the hallways, never passed her in the lobby. It was like she'd disappeared. On the 10th day, Marcus cornered him in the break room. "You look like shit," Marcus said. "Thanks." "What happened with Ariana?" Ryan's jaw tightened. "Nothing. That's a lie. It's complicated." "It's always complicated with her. That's kind of her thing." Marcus leaned against the counter. "Look, I don't know what went down between you two, but for what it's worth, I've never seen her look at anyone the way she looked at you." "What are you talking about?" "At the restaurant, that first night. I saw you guys through the window before I left. And she was smiling, like actually smiling. I didn't even know she knew how." Ryan closed his eyes. "It doesn't matter." "Why not?" "Because she's right. This is too complicated, too risky. I have Emma to think about." "Emma's fine. She's got a great dad who's finally allowing himself to be happy, or was until about 2 weeks ago." "I'm protecting her." "From what? From seeing you be a person instead of just a parent?" Ryan's hands clenched around his coffee cup. "You don't understand." "Then explain it to me." But Ryan couldn't, because he didn't understand it himself. On day 14, Chen called him back into his office. "The position's yours if you want it," Chen said without preamble. "Congratulations." Ryan's chest should have felt lighter. This was what he'd been working toward. More money, more stability, a better future for Emma. Instead, he felt hollow. "Thank you," he managed. "You start Monday. I'll send you the details." Chen paused. "And Ryan, whatever's been distracting you these past 2 weeks, handle it. I need you focused." "I will." Ryan left the office and sat in his car, staring at his phone. He should call his mother, should tell Emma, should celebrate. Instead, he texted Ariana, "I got the promotion." The response came an hour later. "I knew you would. Congratulations." That was it. No warmth, no emotion. Just professional courtesy. Ryan stared at those words until they blurred. Then he drove to Emma's school, picked her up early, and took her for ice cream. "Dad, it's Wednesday," Emma said as they sat in a booth with sundaes. "We don't do ice cream on Wednesdays." "Special occasion. I got a promotion at work." Emma's face lit up. "Really? That's awesome." "Yeah. More money, better title. Things are going to be good." "So why do you look sad?" Ryan forced a smile. "I'm not sad." "You're lying again." Is it because of Ariana?" Ryan's smile faded. "What makes you say that?" "Because you haven't talked about her in 2 weeks, and you check your phone all the time, but you never smile at it anymore. And Grandma says, what does Grandma say? That you're being stubborn, and that you should call her." Ryan rubbed his face. "It's not that simple." "Why not? If you like her and she likes you, what's the problem?" "The problem is that grown-up relationships are complicated." "That's a cop-out." "Excuse me?" Emma crossed her arms. "You're always telling me to be brave, to try new things even when they're scary, but you won't even call someone you like because you're afraid it won't work out." "I'm not afraid." Ryan stopped. "Okay, yeah, I'm afraid." "Of what?" "Of screwing it up, of hurting you, of losing something before I even really have it." Emma reached across the table and took his hand. Her fingers were sticky with chocolate sauce. "Dad, you're not going to lose me. I'm your kid. I'm stuck with you forever. But Ariana, if you don't call her, you might actually lose her. And that would be dumb." Ryan stared at his 7-year-old daughter, wondering when she'd become smarter than him. "When did you get so wise?" he asked. "I watch a lot of TV." Ryan laughed despite himself. "Okay, I'll call her. Promise?" "Promise." That night, after Emma went to bed, Ryan sat on his couch with his phone in his hand. He should text first, ease into it, play it safe. Instead, he called. Ariana picked up on the third ring. "Ryan." Her voice sounded rough, like she'd been crying. "Hi," he said. "I know we said we'd take a break, but I hate this," Ariana interrupted. "I hate not talking to you. I hate pretending you don't exist. I hate—" Her voice cracked. "I hate that I'm too scared to fight for this." Ryan's chest tightened. "You're not too scared." "I am. I'm terrified. Because if I let myself love you and it falls apart, I don't think I'll survive it." "Ariana, but I don't think I can survive without you either." Ryan closed his eyes. Then what do we do? I don't know. But I know I can't do another 2 weeks like this. I know I miss you, and I know... She took a shaky breath. I know I'm falling in love with you too. The words hit Ryan like lightning. Say that again, he said. I'm falling in love with you, and it's terrifying, and I don't know how to do this, but I want to try. Ryan was on his feet before he realized he was moving. I'm coming over. Ryan, it's almost midnight. I don't care, I'm coming over. He hung up, grabbed his jacket, and was halfway to the door when he remembered Emma. He couldn't leave her alone. Ryan stood in the hallway, torn between his daughter sleeping peacefully in her room and the woman who'd just told him she loved him. Then his phone buzzed. Don't wake Emma. Tomorrow. Come tomorrow. Ryan sank against the wall, his heart racing. Okay. Tomorrow. I'll be here. Ryan went to bed but didn't sleep. He lay awake replaying Ariana's words, the crack in her voice when she'd admitted she was terrified. She loved him. Despite everything, despite the complications and the risk and the impossibility of it all, she loved him, and he loved her. Friday morning, Ryan dropped Emma at school and called his mother. I need a favor, he said. Let me guess. You need me to watch Emma tonight. How did you... Because you sound like you're about to do something either very stupid or very brave, possibly both. Linda paused. This is about Ariana. Yeah. Good. It's about time you stopped moping around. What time should I be there? 6? I'll be there at 5:30. And Ryan, don't screw this up. I'll try not to. Work dragged. Ryan went through the motions of his new position, reviewed reports, coordinated with regional managers, attended meetings that felt important but weren't. At 3 p.m., his phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Conference room B, 5th floor. Now. Ryan's stomach dropped. That was Chen's floor. He took the elevator up, his mind racing through every possible scenario. Another warning, a problem with the promotion. Someone had found out about him and Ariana. The conference room was empty except for one person. Ariana. She was standing by the window, arms crossed, looking more nervous than he'd ever seen her. What are you doing here? Ryan asked, glancing at the door. Someone could see. I don't care. Ariana turned to face him. I'm done hiding. Ryan's heart stopped. What? I'm done pretending you don't matter. Done acting like this is something to be ashamed of. Done letting fear make my decisions. Ariana, if someone sees us, then they see us, and we deal with it. Ryan crossed the room, lowered his voice. You could lose everything. I've already lost everything that matters if I lose you. That's not true. Your company is just a company. It's not a life. It's not... She reached for his hand. It's not you. Ryan stared at her. This woman who'd built an empire from nothing, who controlled boardrooms and commanded respect from everyone she met, standing in front of him looking vulnerable and terrified and absolutely certain. Are you sure about this? He asked. No, but I'm sure about you. Ryan pulled her close, kissed her like they weren't standing in a conference room in the middle of the workday where anyone could walk in. When they broke apart, Ariana was smiling. So what now? Ryan asked. Now we do this right. No more hiding, no more sneaking around. We tell the right people, we follow protocol, we make this official. And if the board has a problem with it, then the board can deal with me. Ryan laughed. You're terrifying when you're determined. I know. Ariana's smile faded. But Ryan, this means changes. You can't report anywhere in my chain of command. We'll need to disclose the relationship to HR. There will be rules. I can handle rules. And scrutiny. People will talk. They'll make assumptions. Let them. And Emma already knows. And she likes you. She wants you to come over for dinner. Ariana's eyes went wide. She does? Yeah. Apparently I've been moping around for 2 weeks and she's sick of it. Smart kid. The smartest. They stood there in the conference room, hands linked, the city visible through the windows behind them. Are we really doing this? Ariana asked. Yeah, Ryan said. We really are. Someone knocked on the door. They sprang apart like teenagers caught making out. A woman from accounting poked her head in, apologized for interrupting, and left. Ryan and Ariana looked at each other and started laughing. Okay, Ariana said. Maybe we ease into the not hiding thing. Probably smart. They left separately. Ariana first, then Ryan 5 minutes later. But as Ryan walked back to his desk, his phone buzzed. Tonight, your place. If the invitation's still open. Ryan smiled. 6:30. Emma wants to show you her Megalodon project. I can't wait. Ryan spent the rest of the day trying to focus on work and failing spectacularly. At 5, he left early, stopped at the grocery store, and attempted to make his apartment look less like a disaster zone. Emma helped, chattering the entire time about what they should make for dinner and whether Ariana would want to see her rock collection. Maybe don't overwhelm her, Ryan said. I'm not overwhelming. I'm being friendly. There's a fine line. At 6:15, his mother arrived. She took one look at Ryan's face and smiled. She's coming here? Yeah. Good. Let her see the real you, not just the version you show up with. What if the real me isn't enough? Linda put her hand on Ryan's cheek. Then she's an idiot. But I don't think she is. The doorbell rang at 6:30 exactly. Ryan opened the door, and there was Ariana, wearing jeans and a plain sweater, her hair down, looking more nervous than he'd ever seen her. Hi, she said. Hi, come in. Emma appeared before Ariana made it 3 steps inside. You came? I did. Thanks for having me. Do you want to see my Megalodon? It's not very good, but Dad says it shows effort. Ariana looked at Ryan, her eyes shining with something that might have been tears. I'd love to see your Megalodon, she said. And just like that, Ryan's 2 worlds collided. Emma dragged Ariana to the kitchen table where the Megalodon project sat in all its chaotic glory. Clay teeth jutting out at odd angles, a poster board covered in facts written in Emma's careful handwriting, and 3 library books stacked beside it. See? It's supposed to be scary, but it just looks weird, Emma explained, completely unbothered by the artistic shortcomings. Ariana knelt down to examine it closer. I think it looks appropriately prehistoric. Megalodons weren't exactly pretty creatures. That's what I said. But Mia in my class said hers looks better because her mom helped her. Emma crossed her arms. But Dad says doing it myself matters more than making it perfect. Your dad's right. Ariana glanced at Ryan, who was standing in the doorway, feeling like his heart might explode. Perfect is boring anyway. Emma beamed. Do you want to stay for dinner? We're having spaghetti. Dad makes it from a jar, but it's still good. Emma, Ryan warned. What? You do? Ariana laughed, a real laugh, the kind Ryan had only heard a handful of times. Spaghetti sounds perfect. They ate at the small kitchen table that barely fit 3 people. Emma monopolized the conversation, jumping from topic to topic with the boundless energy of a 7-year-old who'd found an adult willing to actually listen. Ariana asked questions about school and soccer and dinosaurs, and Emma answered each one with the seriousness of someone being interviewed for a documentary. Ryan just watched, something warm and terrifying spreading through his chest. After dinner, Emma convinced Ariana to play a board game that had rules nobody really understood, but Emma had decided were canon. They sat on the living room floor, and Ryan noticed Ariana kept glancing around the apartment, taking in the secondhand furniture, the scuff marks on the walls, the stack of bills on the counter he'd forgotten to hide. This is nice, Ariana said quietly, while Emma was digging through the game box for a missing piece. It's small, Ryan said. It's a home. There's a difference. Emma found the piece, a plastic dinosaur she'd added to the game herself because it needed to be more interesting, and they kept playing until she started yawning. Bedtime, Ryan announced. But we're in the middle of a game, and we'll finish tomorrow. Will Ariana be here tomorrow? Ryan looked at Ariana, who looked back at him with an expression he couldn't quite read. I don't know, Em. Ariana has her own life. But she could come back if she wanted to, right? If she wanted to, Ryan agreed carefully. Emma turned to Ariana. Do you want to? Ariana's throat moved as she swallowed. Yeah, I'd like that. Good. Now go brush your teeth so you don't get cavities and die. Ryan choked. Where did you? Never mind. Go. Emma went, and Ryan and Ariana were left alone in the living room with the board game spread out between them. She's incredible, Ariana said. She's a handful. Same thing. Ariana started putting game pieces back in the box. Thank you for letting me come here. I know this is your space, yours and Emma's. You're welcome here anytime. Am I? Ryan took the game box from her hands and set it aside. Yes, you are. Emma loves you. He stopped. I love you. Ariana's eyes filled with tears. I love you too, and that's still terrifying. I know, but we're doing it anyway. Yeah, we are. Emma called from the bathroom that she was done brushing, and Ryan went to tuck her in while Ariana waited in the living room. He found his daughter already under the covers, clutching her stuffed triceratops. I really like her, Dad, Emma said. I can tell. Is she going to be around a lot now? I hope so, if that's okay with you. Emma thought about it with her usual seriousness. It's okay, but you have to promise me something. What? Don't forget about me. Even if you love her, I'm still here. Ryan's heart cracked. He sat on the edge of the bed and pulled Emma into a hug. I could never forget about you. You're my priority. Always. Nothing and nobody changes that. Promise? Promise. Emma relaxed against him. Okay, then I'm happy you found her. Me too, Em. He kissed her forehead, turned off the light, and went back to the living room. Ariana was standing by the window, looking out at the parking lot below. She okay? Ariana asked. Yeah, just needed reassurance that she's still my number one. As she should be. Ryan moved to stand beside her. This is going to be hard, balancing you and her and work and everything else. I know. There will be days when I have to choose her over you. I know that too. And you're okay with it? Ariana turned to face him. I'm not okay with easy anymore. I'm okay with real. And real is messy and complicated, and sometimes you have to come second. I get that. Ryan kissed her, slow and soft, and felt something settle in his chest, something that felt like certainty. Stay tonight, he said. Emma's here, so we can't, but just stay. Sleep on the couch. Stay. Ariana smiled. Okay. They stayed up too late talking in whispers so they wouldn't wake Emma. Ariana told Ryan about her first apartment, about eating ramen for 6 months straight because she'd put every dollar into the company. Ryan told her about the night Emma was born, how terrified he'd been holding this tiny human who depended on him for everything. Somewhere around 2 a.m., they both fell asleep on the couch, Ryan's arm around Ariana's shoulders, her head against his chest. Emma found them that way in the morning. Told you she'd come back, she said, then went to make herself cereal. The next week, Ryan and Ariana sat down with Vail Technologies' head of HR. Margaret Soto was 62 and had seen everything the corporate world had to offer. She listened to their situation without expression, took notes, and finally leaned back in her chair. You understand this creates complications, she said. We do, Ariana replied. Ryan, you'll need to transfer out of operations. We can't have you in any reporting structure that connects to Ms. Vail, even indirectly. Ryan nodded. He'd expected this. There's an opening in vendor relations, Margaret continued. Same pay grade as your new position, different department entirely. It would require some travel, but less operational stress. I'll take it. Good. And Ms. Vail, this relationship needs to be disclosed to the board. They'll need to approve it. I'll handle the board, Ariana said, and her tone made it clear the discussion was over. Margaret almost smiled. I'm sure you will. In the meantime, you're both required to attend a seminar on workplace relationships and power dynamics. It's mandatory and excruciatingly boring, but it covers our legal bases. When? Ryan asked. Next Tuesday, 2 hours. Don't be late. They left HR together, walked to the elevator in silence, and as soon as the doors closed, Ariana started laughing. What? Ryan asked. A seminar on power dynamics. They're going to lecture us about something we've been navigating for 2 months. Maybe we'll learn something. Doubtful. They didn't learn anything at the seminar except that corporate compliance training was every bit as boring as Margaret had promised, but they sat through it, signed the forms, and walked out officially allowed to be together. The board meeting was harder. Ariana went alone. Ryan wasn't invited, wasn't even supposed to know it was happening, but she called him after, her voice tight. They approved it, she said, but there were conditions. What kind of conditions? I have to recuse myself from any decisions involving your department. If there's ever a conflict of interest, you're the one who has to step back, not me. And if this relationship affects my performance or the company's reputation, they reserve the right to revisit. That's fair. Is it? Because it feels like they're waiting for me to fail. Then don't fail, Ariana exhaled. You make it sound simple. It is simple. We do our jobs. We keep our personal lives separate from work. We prove them wrong. And if we can't, then we deal with it. Together, like we've been doing. There was a long pause, then, I don't know how you stay so calm about this. I'm not calm. I'm terrified. But I'm also tired of being afraid. So I'm choosing to believe it'll work out. That's very optimistic of you. Yeah, well, Emma's rubbing off on me. Ariana laughed, and Ryan heard the tension drain from her voice. How is Emma? Currently building a volcano for her science project. The kitchen looks like a disaster zone. Can I come over after work? Only if you don't mind getting covered in baking soda. I'll risk it. Ryan hung up smiling. The rumors started 2 weeks later. Ryan heard them in break rooms and bathrooms, whispered conversations that stopped when he walked by. People speculated about how he'd really gotten his promotion, what Ariana saw in him, how long it would last. Most of it he could ignore. But then someone spray-painted Gold Digger on his car, and Ryan couldn't ignore that. He reported it to security, filed a police report, and drove home in a loaner vehicle feeling like he'd been punched in the gut. Ariana called that night, furious. I'm finding out who did this. It doesn't matter. It absolutely matters. This is targeted harassment. And if you make a big deal out of it, it proves their point, that you're protecting me, that I can't handle my own problems. So what? You just let them get away with it? No, I let security handle it. I let the police handle it. And I go to work tomorrow and do my job like nothing happened. Ariana was quiet for a long moment. I hate this. I know. Me too. But it's part of the deal. It shouldn't be. Maybe not. But it is. The vandalism investigation went nowhere. Security footage was inconclusive, no witnesses came forward, and eventually everyone moved on to the next piece of office gossip. Ryan kept his head down and focused on work. His new position in vendor relations was challenging in different ways. More negotiation, more travel, more politics. But he was good at it, better than he'd expected. 3 months after their relationship became official, Ryan came home to find Ariana and Emma in the kitchen making cookies. Or attempting to. There was flour everywhere and Emma was covered in chocolate chips. What happened here? Ryan asked. We're baking, Emma announced. I can see that. How's it going? Terribly, Ariana said, but she was smiling. Turns out neither of us can follow a recipe. That tracks. They salvaged what they could. The cookies came out burnt on the edges and raw in the middle. But Emma declared them the best cookies ever made. They ate them anyway, sitting at the kitchen table, and Ryan felt something shift. This was his life now. Not perfect, not simple, but real. That night, after Emma went to bed, Ariana stayed. She'd been staying over more often, keeping spare clothes in Ryan's closet, her toothbrush in the bathroom. Small pieces of her life integrating with his. They lay in bed, the apartment quiet around them. I've been thinking, Ariana said. About what? About selling the company. Ryan sat up. What? Not selling all of it, but stepping back. Bringing in a CEO who actually wants to run the day-to-day operations while I focus on long-term strategy. Or maybe just sit on the board and consult. Ariana, that's your entire life. No, it was my entire life. Now I have this. You and Emma and Friday night cookie disasters. And I don't want to miss it because I'm too busy working 80-hour weeks. Are you sure? No. But I'm sure that I want a life outside of that building. I'm sure that I want to come home to you. I'm sure that I want to be present instead of just surviving. She touched his face. You taught me that there's more to life than just building something, that sometimes the building is the easy part. Living is harder. Ryan kissed her. I love you. I love you too. Emma's going to freak out when she finds out you're going to be around more. Good. I need someone to help me learn how to bake properly. You're in trouble. Emma's terrible at baking. Then we'll be terrible together. 6 months later, Ryan got a call from an unknown number. Is this Ryan Cole? A woman's voice, vaguely familiar. Yeah, who's this? It's Sarah, Emma's mother. Ryan's world stopped. He hadn't heard from Sarah in 7 years. Not since she'd walked out of the hospital 3 days after giving birth, leaving nothing but a note that said she couldn't do it. What do you want? Ryan's voice came out flat. I heard you're doing well, that Emma's doing well. Where did you hear that? I have friends who still live in the city. They mentioned seeing you, and I wanted to reach out, see if maybe I could meet her. Ryan's hand tightened around the phone. Absolutely not. Ryan, please, I know I made mistakes. Mistakes? Ryan's voice rose. You abandoned your daughter. You left her with a father who had no idea what he was doing. You missed 7 years of her life. And now you want to just show up? I was young. I was scared. I wasn't ready. Neither was I, but I stayed. Ryan forced himself to breathe. You don't get to come back now. You don't get to disrupt her life because you suddenly feel guilty. She's my daughter too. No. You were the person who gave birth to her. I'm her parent. There's a difference. Sarah was crying now. I just want a chance. You had your chance 7 years ago. You chose to leave. That was your choice. Now I'm making mine. Stay away from us. Ryan hung up and sat in his car, shaking. When he got home, Ariana took one look at his face and pulled him into her arms. What happened? He told her. Everything. And she held him while he fell apart. What are you going to tell Emma? She asked finally. Nothing. Not yet. Maybe not ever. She doesn't need that in her life right now. Okay? But Ryan, if Sarah keeps pushing, then I'll deal with it. But she doesn't get to waltz back in and play mother when she's been gone for 7 years. Agreed. That night, Ryan couldn't sleep. He lay awake thinking about Sarah, about Emma, about all the ways this could go wrong. Around 3 a.m., he got up and went to Emma's room. She was asleep, sprawled across her bed with her triceratops on the floor. Ryan picked it up, tucked it beside her, and stood there watching her breathe. She was his, not because of biology, not because of some legal document, but because he'd been there. Every nightmare, every scraped knee, every parent-teacher conference. He'd showed up every single day for 7 years, and he wasn't going to let anyone take that away. The next morning, Emma noticed he was distracted. You okay, Dad? Yeah, Em, just thinking about stuff. About Ariana? About you? Emma smiled. What about me? Just that you're the best thing that ever happened to me. I know, you tell me that like every day. Because it's true. Okay, but you're getting sappy. It's weird. Ryan laughed. Sorry. It's okay. I like when you're sappy. It means you're happy. Emma grabbed her backpack. Is Ariana coming over tonight? I think so. Why? Because I need help with my math homework and she's better at it than you. Ouch. What? It's true. That evening, Ariana came over and helped Emma with fractions while Ryan made dinner. He watched them from the kitchen, Emma explaining her teacher's method, Ariana nodding and offering suggestions, both of them completely focused. This was what family looked like. Not perfect, not traditional, but real. After Emma went to bed, Ryan and Ariana sat on the couch. Sarah called again today, Ryan said. Ariana tensed. What did she say? That she wants to see Emma, that she has rights, that she's gotten a lawyer. Can she do that? I don't know. Maybe. She's the biological mother. Even though she abandoned Emma, even though she's been gone for 7 years, legally, she might have a case. Then we get you a lawyer. A good one. I can't afford a good lawyer. I can. Ryan looked at her. Ariana, before you say no, hear me out. Emma is part of your life, which means she's part of my life now too. And I'm not going to sit back and watch someone threaten that because you're too proud to accept help. It's not about pride, but yes, it is. And I get it. I really do. But Ryan, let me help, please. Ryan closed his eyes. Everything in him wanted to say no, to handle this himself, to prove he could protect his daughter without anyone's help. But he was tired of doing everything alone. Okay, he said finally, okay. Ariana's lawyer was terrifyingly competent. Within 2 weeks, she'd compiled a case that made it clear Sarah had voluntarily terminated her parental responsibilities, had made no effort to contact or support Emma in 7 years, and had no legal standing to demand custody or visitation. Sarah backed down after one strongly worded letter. Ryan waited 2 more weeks to be sure, then finally let himself breathe. "It's over?" Emma asked when he told her, in vague terms, that someone had been asking questions, but it was handled. "It's over." "Good. Can we have pizza for dinner?" "Yeah, Em, we can have pizza." That weekend, Ariana took them to the coast. Just the 3 of them, a rental house right on the beach, 2 days with no work and no stress, and no world outside the sound of waves. Emma ran on the beach for hours, collecting shells and chasing seagulls. Ariana and Ryan walked behind her, hands linked. "Thank you," Ryan said. "For what?" "For the lawyer, for this weekend, for everything. You don't have to thank me for being here. I want to be here." "I know, but I still want to say it." They watched Emma discover a tidal pool and spend 20 minutes examining every creature inside it. "She's going to be amazing someday," Ariana said. "She already is." "True, but I mean, she's going to change the world. I can tell." Ryan smiled. "Think so?" "I know so. She's got your determination and her own brand of fearlessness. That's a dangerous combination." "Terrifying, you mean?" "Same thing." That night, after Emma fell asleep, Ryan and Ariana sat on the deck listening to the ocean. "I've been thinking," Ryan said. "Should I be worried?" "Probably, but I'm going to say it anyway." He turned to face her. "Move in with us." Ariana's eyes went wide. "What?" "Move in, with me and Emma. My apartment's too small and your house is too big and empty, so move in. We'll find something together, something that fits all 3 of us." "Ryan, I know it's fast. I know there are a million reasons to wait, but I don't want to wait anymore. I want you there when Emma wakes up from nightmares. I want you there for breakfast and dinner and all the boring parts in between. I want a life with you. A real one. Not just stolen moments." Ariana's hands were shaking. "Yes." "Yeah?" "Yes. I want that too." Ryan kissed her, and somewhere in the house, Emma was probably dreaming about dinosaurs and the ocean and all the adventures still waiting. They found a house 3 months later. Not too big, not too small, with a yard for Emma and an office for Ariana and enough space for all their broken pieces to fit together. Moving day was chaos, boxes everywhere, Emma's toys mixed with Ariana's files, Ryan's secondhand furniture looking shabby next to Ariana's designer pieces. "This is insane," Ariana said, standing in the middle of the living room surrounded by chaos. "Completely," Ryan agreed. "I love it." "Me too." Emma ran past carrying her stuffed triceratops. "I found my room. It's perfect. Can I paint it blue?" "We'll talk about it," Ryan called after her. "That's parent speak for maybe," Ariana whispered. "You're learning." They spent the next week unpacking and arguing about where things should go and learning how to share space. It was messy and frustrating and absolutely perfect. One night, Ryan found Ariana in Emma's room reading her a bedtime story. He stood in the doorway, watching, and felt his chest get tight. This was what he'd never let himself want: a partner. Someone to share the weight. Someone who loved his daughter almost as much as he did. "Night, Emma," Ariana said, closing the book. "Night. Love you." Ariana froze. Emma had never said that before. "Love you too," Ariana said, her voice thick. She passed Ryan in the hallway, her eyes wet, and he pulled her into his arms. "You okay?" "She loves me." "Of course she does." "But she said it out loud." "Because it's true." Ariana buried her face in his shoulder and cried. Happy tears, Ryan hoped. The kind that came from finally having something worth holding on to. A year after that blind date that nearly ruined everything, Ryan brought Ariana back to the same restaurant. She knew something was happening. He'd been terrible at hiding it, checking his pocket every 5 minutes, distracted during dinner. "You're making me nervous," Ariana said as dessert arrived. "Good." "Ryan." He pulled out the ring. Not expensive. He'd bought it with his own money, refused to let Ariana pay for anything that mattered this much. Simple gold band, small diamond. "I know we've only been together a year," Ryan said. "I know this is fast. I know there are a million reasons to wait. But I've spent 7 years being careful and safe and never taking risks. And then you walked into this restaurant and turned my entire life upside down. And I don't want careful anymore. I don't want safe. I want you. I want us. I want... Yes, Ariana interrupted. I haven't asked yet. I don't care. Yes, Ryan laughed. Ariana Vale, will you marry me? I already said yes. Humor me. Fine. Yes, Ryan Cole. I will marry you. He slipped the ring on her finger and she kissed him, and the restaurant erupted in applause from strangers who'd been watching the whole thing. They told Emma that night. She screamed so loud the neighbors probably heard. Does this mean Ariana's going to be my mom? Ryan looked at Ariana, who nodded. If you want me to be, Ariana said. Emma threw herself into Ariana's arms. I want you to be. The wedding was small, just family and a handful of friends. Emma was the flower girl and took her job extremely seriously. Ryan's mother cried through the entire ceremony. Marcus gave a speech about how he'd known they were perfect for each other from the start, which was a lie, but nobody called him on it. And when Ryan kissed his wife, he felt something click into place. Like all the broken pieces had finally found where they belonged. They honeymooned as a family, all three of them, because Emma insisted and neither Ryan nor Ariana could say no. They went to a dinosaur museum and a beach and ate too much ice cream and took 1,000 pictures. This is my family, Emma announced to a stranger at the museum who'd asked if they were enjoying their visit. And Ryan realized she was right. Not the family he'd planned, not the family he'd expected, but the family he'd needed. 2 years later, Ariana officially stepped back from running Vale Technologies. She stayed on the board, consulted on major decisions, but handed day-to-day operations to a new CEO who actually enjoyed the 80-hour weeks. Don't you miss it? Ryan asked one night. Sometimes. But then I come home to you and Emma arguing about whether dinosaurs could swim, and I remember why I left. We're not arguing, we're debating. You're definitely arguing. Emma appeared in the doorway. Dad says dinosaurs couldn't swim because they were too heavy, but I found an article that says some of them could. Show me, Ariana said. They spent the next hour researching aquatic dinosaurs, and Ryan watched them from the kitchen, feeling grateful and terrified and completely content. This was what mattered, not promotions or board meetings or proving anything to anyone, just this. Family, love, showing up every day and choosing each other. On their 3rd anniversary, Ryan and Ariana went back to the restaurant one more time. Same booth, same menu, same waiter who remembered them from the proposal. Hard to believe it's been 4 years since you two met here, the waiter said. 3, Ryan corrected. No, 4. You came back for your proposal a year after the first date. Ryan did the math. 4 years since that blind date that had terrified him. 4 years since Ariana had walked through that door and changed everything. Feels longer, Ariana said. In a good way? In the best way. They ordered wine and talked about Emma's latest obsession, marine biology, and Ariana's new consulting project and Ryan's upcoming work trip. Normal, boring, perfect. Thank you, Ryan said. For what? For taking a chance on me. On us. For being brave when I was terrified. You were brave too. I was desperate. There's a difference, Ariana laughed. Maybe, but it worked out. Yeah, it did. They left the restaurant hand in hand, and Ryan thought about the man he'd been 4 years ago. Scared, alone, convinced his life was as good as it would ever get. He'd been wrong, and he'd never been happier to be wrong. Because the truth was, life wasn't about being safe. It wasn't about protecting yourself from risk or pain or the possibility of loss. Life was about showing up, about being brave enough to want more, about letting people in even when it scared you. Ryan had spent 7 years surviving, and then Ariana had walked into his life and taught him how to live. Not perfectly, not without mistakes or doubts or moments of pure terror, but fully, completely, with his whole heart. And that, Ryan realized, was worth everything.